Welcome, everyone. Sometimes we thank you for being here, and we praise God for you. We're going to go ahead and start with prayer. Cooking is always fun, right? But when you're cooking plant-based, it always seems so much more of a challenge. So you're going to see me go in the camera, come right out, go in, come right out, because basically that's how I have to do it today. So I'm praying that it won't be too hard for you guys to see everything. All right, let us pray. We always start with the perfect prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. So we have two wonderful chefs that's going to be with us. I'm going to demonstrate, but you're really going to get your blessings from the two Nicoles, Nicole Bruchette and also Nicole Braxton. From Nicole Bruchette is a chef that is running a cafe right now, and everything's always a little bit challenging when you're running a plant-based, and she does it with such a smile, and we love her. She has 3 young ones. She'll explain it to you, but they're doing such a great ministry. And what she does is every day they minister to people through health. And so it's always a good thing when you can have people that are giving their lives for God. And so this is what she does, and she'll be on later. Well, not much later, because I won't be up here much longer, but she will be on, and she's going to show you what they do. And she's probably going to tell you a little bit about their ministry. So we welcome her, and then we have Chef Braxton, Nicole Braxton, and she is hailing somewhere from I think the Midwest, and she has a wonderful ministry as well. A younger person, we love the younger people. Well, you know what, they're both younger than me, so that's the whole thing. I love when younger people are doing something for God, and they love plant-based. And so what she's doing actually is a ministry where she works with different churches. She goes out and helps others, and she's going to tell a little bit about what she does. And her ministry is called Around the World in 7 Days. That's actually her business, Around the World in 7 Days. So when she comes on, I pray that you guys will be blessed. Now today, we are making something a little fun. So we're going to do some, I hope you guys like zucchini. So we're going to do some zucchini raviolis. So are you there? Can you guys hear me okay? We're going to focus it less on me and more on, if you can see everything okay, because I don't have a videographer. So it's just me here. And so we're going to do something that's a little bit different, but this is something that is wonderful because you can eat it raw or you can eat it cooked. So we're going to do both versions today. And please don't be afraid if I step away from the camera. So what we're doing is this is almonds, and we have soaked these almonds. This is going to be like your ricotta. And so we're going to just go ahead and put this in the blender. This is about 2 cups of soaked almonds. And why you want to soak the almonds, it's because the almonds are pretty hard. It's a hard nut. And so you want that texture almost like a ricotta. You don't want it to be just too hard, but you want it to have a great texture. And then we're going to go ahead and add about 1.5 cups of cashews that were also soaked. And these were soaked in warm water. And you always want to rinse your cashews. So we have the water, the cashews. Now we have lemon juice. You have 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And then this is something, it always causes a little bit of a controversy, but we love it. And if someone is in transition and they really need that taste, go ahead and use it, because there's nothing that we can do. This is nutritional yeast, but what I have done is I've gotten the non-GMO, and it's actually a brand called Sari, and Sari, S-A-R-I. And then we have Himalayan salt, and pink Himalayan salt is wonderful. I also mix it at times with other salts. So I mix it with black salt, and I don't know if I've mentioned that or if you were here before, but I do mix it with the black salt just so that it will have more nutrients, because the black salt actually has more nutritional value than the pink salt. The black salt has 94 minerals, especially if you get in the black Himalayan salt, which that's what I like to use. So please forgive me. This is going to be a little bit noisy. Okay, so this is what it looks like in the inside. See that? It's pretty thick, nice and thick. And you don't want it to be runny. So we're gonna go ahead, and here, I'm sorry, I couldn't do everything on camera, but here we have zucchini, and this is raw. I didn't do anything with the zucchini more than just slice it. Slice it with a peeler. So we're gonna go ahead and put this together. And it's good to let it rest because it dries out just a little bit. So we went ahead and put in our ricotta, right? We folded it over. This is just, and there you go. There's your ravioli. So you see how quick that is? You don't have to do anything else. You can let that sit. You can marinate it in more seasoning. You lay them any fashion you want. Lay them across each other. One going one direction, the other going, just like you would make a box. And I can do it again if you need me to do it again. Just tell me. And say, you need it to be as thin as possible. Once it rests, it loses a lot of the water as well. So you need it to rest. Now we're taking our ricotta. And again, you can put basil, anything you want in here. You can go ahead and put Daya cheese if that's something you want to do. If you don't know what Daya cheese, it's sold at every grocery store right now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and flip this over. We're flipping one direction, flipping the next direction.
Oh, okay.
Flipping this direction. And then we're ending like this.
Okay.
Pretty okay. And so you make as much of these as you would like. I am going to actually, we're going to go ahead and toss these in a little panko for you. You don't have to do that. Just tell me that you're seeing me. Yeah, this is just coconut milk.
Okay.
And we're going to dip it in here really quickly. Put it in the panko. Now this panko is seasoned with garlic and onion powder, garlic powder, and a little bit of basil. Okay. Now you can get this in gluten-free. You don't have to do it this way. Remember, you can go ahead and make like a quick little salad dressing and eat it just like this. because this will be great. The nuts are pretty raw. I mean, you've soaked them in warm water or whatever, but you're not really killing any enzymes. Here's something that you also can do. You can take them. What I like is when people with families, they can freeze things. So if you did it like this, here's what I would do. I would freeze them and then take them out at another time, air fry them, bake them in the oven. But, you know, whatever it is that you would like to do. The thing, when you're eating, you need to be happy. That's what I tell people. If you're not going to be happy eating it, don't eat it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you a different technique as well. We can also pan sear these. Okay, the zucchini is going to be whatever you did before you put it in the fridge. So in other words, as long as you let it be dry, this is very thin and dry itself already. If you could see the zucchini, doesn't have a lot of moisture. So whatever you did, as long as you work fast, like in other words, you want to bake it, you're going to put it straight in the oven. Whatever you do, don't wait too long on it, okay? There, yeah. And you don't need it too hot, but just as long as it's hot enough. This is not deep frying, but it is pan searing. So you can use coconut oil. Okay. Nicole, just tell me when you're ready.
Oh, I can go whenever you want.
Yay, that's good.
Yeah. I'm just kind of going in and out. So whenever you're ready, just let me know.
Good. So this is so yummy that you guys will not miss pasta. You'll actually want to do this all the time, really. But that again is my opinion. Once you're done with this, it's really that simple. And I believe your family, even if they're meat eaters, they will enjoy it. And that's it. And you're done. This is a quick searing. It's not a long process. So we're just gonna go ahead and put these here. And you can top that with tomato sauce. You can go ahead and eat it with fruits, because actually zucchini is a fruit. So this can be a complete fruit meal for you. Okay, so you can eat it with okra, you can make an okra salad. You know, the sky is the limit. You don't need to do a whole lot. But once you put the tomato sauce in there, you'll definitely love it. Okay, Nicole, are you ready?
Sure. So my husband and I opened an organic plant-based cafe in 2017. And sure, Bianca is actually going to show you guys a little, she's my culinary intern, but she also helps with our maternal health programs as well. So that's the cafe. You guys are getting a look at it. We're cleaning from brunch service, so excuse the mess. But we opened in 2017. Like I said, everything is organic and plant-based. We source from local farms as much as possible. Almost everything is made from scratch, including our meats and cheeses. And my kids are here with us. We like to call ourselves a community cafe because we really focus on building community and fellowship and connection with those who come and frequent the cafe. Our little ones have nicknamed our customers the buddies. So they ask, you know, when are the buddies coming in? What time? And, you know, they get very excited. We have, you know, our regulars come in and they sit and they talk and actually become friends, become family. They help homeschool. It's really just beautiful. We have several programs around food access. So we meet the needs in our city through the cafe, focusing on looking at health equity and looking at food accessibility and food insecurity challenges that are in the New England area. So we use various programs in the cafe to address those needs, as well as maternal
And
health
of course,
outcomes.
Nicole, of course, one
Yeah.
of the first questions to come up is,
Uh-huh.
where are you located? Because people
Oh,
want to come and eat.
yes. We're in Worcester. We're in Worcester,
Yes.
Massachusetts. So if you're not in Massachusetts or New England area, then you have to come visit. Actually, now's the perfect time to come visit because it's peak season. So all the foliage is gorgeous. We have people normally from all over the country coming in to look at the beautiful scenery of God's creation. But right now with COVID, that's not happening as much. But yeah, so that's our cafe. We do maternal health. My husband and I are culinary nutrition educators as well. So we speak about health and nutrition. We love to eat. And it's one of the things that we have in common with Ro. And one of the reasons why we love her, because she also loves to eat and to eat good food, to eat well, to nourish our bodies in a wholesome way. So I don't know. I think that's about it.
Okay, well, tell us a little bit about what you're making today.
Yeah, so one of the things that I'm going to show you guys, well, the thing that I'm going to show you guys is a corn chowder. And it is one of my favorite dishes. And I thought that it would be a really great way to introduce, and we'll talk a little bit about it because I always like to give you some of the health-focused information as well as just showing you what you're making so that you're not only learning how to cook something, but you're also understanding how it's nourishing your body at the same time. And so we're talking about seasonal foods and why it's important to eat seasonally and locally and how you can go about doing that. And corn chowder, I think, is one of the best ways to do that, especially now. If you drive through the countryside in Massachusetts, and I'm sure other places, you see cornfields everywhere, and it's just beautiful, beautiful and delicious. So we're gonna jump right in, and I'll get into, while the chowder is doing its thing on the burner here, I'll go into a little bit more about the nutrition side. Does that sound good? Okay, so let's talk about our ingredients. We are using, I actually just got this box of ingredients from a market that we have a partnership with, and we get all of these foods from local farms. So there's about 80 different farms that we partner with. And so these are all from local organic farms nearby in central Massachusetts. We are using lots of different things. We have bell pepper, we have some hot peppers if you're interested in that. We have lemon, we have garlic, onions, fresh corn, and then we have lots of different greens available as well. So we're gonna start by actually turning on our burner. And I'm just gonna put it on low, between like right around low, medium low. The reason why is because I am going to be adding just a touch of grapeseed oil. You don't have to use oil. If you prefer to start things off with water, you can do that as well, and then add your oil at the end. I'm going to just go ahead and add a little bit of my oil in here to cook down my onions and my, well, if you want to add potatoes, you can, potatoes. But what you want to, one of the things that's important when you're cooking with oils, you don't ever want to add oil to a cold pan. So we want to make sure that our pan is hot. I'm popping out. I'll be right back. One of the reasons I use grapeseed oil is because, you know, it's a healthier oil. It's an oil that you can cook with high heat temperatures. I don't cook with olive oil because it can become carcinogenic. Olive oil is very, very sensitive to heat and to light. So you don't ever want to cook with olive oil. Grapeseed oil maintains its integrity when you're applying high heat, as does coconut oil and pumpkin seed oil. So I tend to cook with those. But again, even better would be to just go ahead and cook your veggies in water, which is good too. While my pan is warming up, I'm gonna go ahead and start to, just gonna toss this in the box actually, I can clean that out later. I'm gonna start to chop my onion. So you're gonna dice your onion up. right. So one way that you can tell if your pan is hot is actually when you put your hand over the bottom of the pan, you should be able to feel heat all the way throughout your palm. If it's cold in the center, your pan is not completely warm. My pan is nice and warm, so I'm gonna go ahead and just add literally just a touch of oil, and I'm gonna drop my onions right in there. And what we're doing right now is just building the flavor base by adding in all of our aromatics. So we have our onion, and then we're also going to add some garlic as well. So we're going to go ahead and drop our garlic in there too with our onion. All right. And that's going to just kind of hang out. We're going to add a little bit of our pink salt, our Himalayan pink salt, which, Ro, I think I heard you talking about Himalayan salt. I don't want to repeat any information you already shared, but it's definitely one of my favorite salts to cook with. It's really the only salt that I use because it contains so many trace minerals, and it's a much healthier salt. You want while you're doing your garlic and your onion, you want it to stay low enough that you're not actually burning it. You just want to start to get the fragrance, the aroma. Now, normally we have a sick member at our church who's actually requesting some soup, so they're going to get to partake of that. So I'm going to add some heat to it because he likes heat. But that's totally optional. You don't have to add heat if you don't want, but if you're going to add a little bit, you can pop that in as well. This is just a slight hot pepper, which is nice. It boosts your metabolism, aids in digestion. It's not super, super spicy. We don't want anything that's gonna like actually burn our insides, but a little bit of heat is nice. All right. Next is our corn. So corn is a hot topic. Here's the thing. This is locally sourced corn. Literally, I think it was harvested a few days ago. It's organic, okay? Normally, I would say, like if you're buying regular conventional corn, I would say stay away from it. But when you have no spray, like we know the farmers that are making this and it's no spray and it's organic, in that case, you're fine. Because we know that it's not, you know, GMO, there's no process there. So we know that you're getting just good old corn, and corn actually has a ton of health properties. It's so healthy for you, which I think is probably one of the reasons why it's targeted in the GMO community, but that's just my opinion. So I'm just taking the outsides off real quick. And then we're gonna give them a quick rinse, and then we're gonna get them going in our pot as well. All right. So this is the fun part. All you're gonna do is take your knife and you're just gonna cut down your corn. I know a lot of people sometimes feel intimidated cooking with fresh corn. Like the only thing you can do with it is corn on the cob, but you can do cornbread, you can do turn it into a flour, like dry it out and turn it into a flour. You can add it to your soups and your stews. There's a lot you can do. It's a lot of fun. Yes, you can turn it into a salad too. So we're gonna go ahead and drop our corn in there as well. Normally I do this in a bowl, but right now all of the bowls are being used for brunch. So we're just gonna do this right here. You know, part of the fun about cooking is always finding ways to improvise, right? I'm sure Ro can talk about that as well. You know, I think sometimes we, you know, want to be perfectionists in the kitchen when we're cooking, and everything has to be, you know, done just so, but it's an art. It's an expression of love. It's an opportunity to create and harness that same creative energy that, you know, that God himself has, you know, and he's instilled that in each of us and given us an opportunity to be able to share our gifts with others. And so that's one of the things that I love most about cooking, and cooking with all these fresh plant-based ingredients is nice because there's so much color and there's nutrition, and it's just a great way to share with our community our passion, our love, our joy for good food, all those good things. So, all right. So you get your corn in here, and I like to just kind of make sure I get all the juices in there, especially when you're making this at the time of year that corn is ready for harvest, because it's so sweet and so delicious. All right, so I'm gonna turn that up to medium low. I'm going to clear my area, and we're gonna let those things cook a little bit. If you were gonna add potatoes, this would be the time to add some potatoes if you want something a little bit heartier. You can also add in any other ingredients that you honestly enjoy. You know, yeah. Bianca said you can't go wrong, but then she said, actually you could. But, you know, here's a great time to add, like if you want some delicata squash, you could add zucchini, you could add, you know, chives or green onions. You can add really anything that, any kind of veggie, you know, if you want to add some greens to it, you can add those as well. If you have like a tougher leaf green, if you have something that's a little bit lighter, like a spinach or something like that, then I would wait until the end to add it so that you don't end up, yeah, you could add some Swiss chard. All right, so we got that all cooking. And then we're gonna add basically while that's cooking, we're gonna add some more water. You can use vegetable broth if you'd like, or a no chicken broth or something like that. But I personally like to just build my own flavor and then just use filtered water. So we're just gonna add some water to our pot, and then we're gonna add in a little bit more flavor with, we already have our garlic in there, we already have our salt in there, but we're gonna add some paprika. And then basically you're just gonna let that kind of hang out for a little bit until it gets warm. So let me go get some water. All right, so I'm just gonna add some water from my Berkey. Valencia, if you'd like, you can get mommy a spoon. All right, if you want to add, I do like adding a little nutritional yeast sometimes. It's a great source of vitamin B12, which also, corn is also a wonderful source of B12 as well. But it adds like a nice kind of cheesy flavor. So that, and then we're going to take some lemon. And we're gonna squeeze some lemon in there. I have the bell peppers here. We're gonna actually add those at the end, the little crunch, but actually, you know what, let's go ahead and add just a little bit. And I like to get as many different colors. Thank you. This is paprika. We're gonna add a little bit of paprika. Okay. All right, so that's cooking. We're gonna let that hang out for a little bit. I'm gonna crank up my heat just a little bit up to medium high. You can make this the day before. You can put everything into a crock pot or an Instapot. You can cook this for hours if you want, and it just makes nice, deep, rich flavor. But the other thing I like about this soup is it creates a really nice, flavorful stew relatively quickly. So we're gonna just let that cook. And while that's cooking, I'm going to tell you guys about the health benefits of some of the things that we are using. So first, let's talk about why it's important to eat seasonally, if you can. A lot of people think, and I know, you know, well, let me ask it this way. Bianca, I don't know if you can see if people write in. Okay, So if everybody could, in the chat, how many people feel like eating plant-based or vegan is expensive? So here's the thing, it can be, it depends, I think is the answer. Sometimes it can be very, very expensive, especially once you factor in nuts and seeds and all of those things. But the beauty of it is that there are ways that you can eat a completely organic. Okay, someone said if you're shopping organic, it is. So you can find really beautiful ways to access organic, whole foods, plant-based foods for low cost. And part of that is through partnerships with local farms, especially right now because local farms really are struggling they have actually more food that they've produced than they can get rid of. And so a lot of them are just giving food away at this point because it's just going to spoil. They can't give it to there's too much to give to the animals. And when they planned their crops last year, obviously they planned their crops without knowing that COVID was going to happen and that we were going to have different limitations. So right now there's a lot of accessibility. But in general, when you eat seasonally, it's also, and locally, it's also another way to reduce the cost that it is associated with eating this way. And the reason why is because you're eating in a way that is consistent and harmonious with the natural environment that you're in. Farmers don't have to add a whole lot of extra things because when you're eating locally, it's crops that are able to be sustained in the environment that you're growing it in, right? So, for example, you're not shipping a watermelon or something, oranges from Florida or something from South America, all the way up here. You're not waiting to get corn from, some foreign place. You're getting it right from 50 miles away, right? And it's already been grown locally. So you don't have the overhead cost of trucking and shipping and packing and all of the other costs that get built into the cost of your food. So when you're eating locally, when you're eating from local farmer market, it's a way to reduce the cost of your food. Another reason why it's great to eat seasonally is because it actually reduces your pesticide consumption. So when you're eating things that are both local and seasonal, it helps because you are able to control and have a conversation with the people that you're sourcing your food from. I don't know if many of you know, but you can actually ask if you shop at Whole Foods or Trader Joe's where they're getting their produce from, and they should be able to tell you what farm, who the farmer is, and that sort of thing. And they'll also be able to tell you if it's low spray, no spray, or high spray. You also get more flavor when you're eating seasonally, which is great. And then your foods are more nutrient dense because you're harvesting the foods and you're eating them when they are at their peak nutritional value. So when the corn that we're eating today is going to be so nutrient packed compared to eating corn in, say, January after it's been sitting. Right. And that's one of the beauties of having a garden as well. So when you have food that's sitting in storage or sitting in a refrigerator or a cooler for an extended period of time, and it's just being put out onto the shelves as it goes, which I don't know if a lot of people know, but for example, when you buy apples out of season, you're eating apples that were actually picked an entire year prior. And they've been just sitting in a giant refrigerator, a giant cooler, and then they ship them in slowly, right? So the whole time that fruit or that vegetable is sitting there in that cooler, it's losing nutritional value. So eating seasonally or eating locally helps to maintain the nutritional density of the foods that you're eating. And then the other thing is that obviously it's more environmentally friendly as well. So those are a few things there. Just gonna check this out. Smells so good. Okay. All right, it's looking good in there. Other things that are important to consider are some of the ingredients that you are using. So we are, like like I said, using locally harvested seasonal vegetables. And I wanted to highlight two of the veggies, one that we're using, one that we're not using, but that I would highly recommend you include, especially as the winter months come closer. And that's the corn. Corn is very rich in vitamin B12. Does anybody know why that is important? I will pause. B12, B12 is important, and it's kind of one of those elusive vitamins. It's incredibly important to long-term sustained health. And it's one of the few vitamins that people are not able to access. It's not as readily available. And especially if you are vegan, vegetarian, or plant-based, it can be harder to access B12. It's typically associated with different animal foods. And so a lot of people who don't recognize different sources for achieving their B12 end up in consuming it in fortified form and supplemental form. But B12 is really important because it actually helps with cellular health and also neurological function. So it's one of the things, for example, in people who are experiencing early cognitive decline, or people who are experiencing things like dementia, Alzheimer's, that sort of thing, they've actually seen a lot of correlation between low B12 as well as low vitamin D in those populations. So B12 actually helps with mental fog, mental clarity, and an improved neurological function, which is really important. It also helps in making healthy blood cells. If you're pregnant, expecting, it's also super important because it's very high in folate. Folate helps with helping to mitigate the risk of certain birth defects like spina bifida. And so it's another really, really great resource for pregnant women. It also has a ton of fiber, so it helps to move the bowels and clean the gut, which is all good because a happy gut means good health. And then we also have potatoes that we can add into the recipe if you'd like. And the potatoes are great because they're high in fiber, they're high in magnesium, and they're filling, naturally gluten-free, which is great. Another health question for you guys: who knows about the importance of magnesium? So magnesium is really important because it actually helps to stabilize mood. And it's just another, when you talk about mental health, another really, really important ingredient when you're talking about mental health and good mood response. And the interesting thing is that caffeinated products, so coffees, caffeinated teas, sodas, that sort of thing, actually pull magnesium from the system, which is why you end up with heart palpitations, you end up with poor sleep patterns, you end up with headaches, you end up with mood disorders or mood swings, but you can also report signs of depression, anxiety, and all of that. And what they've seen is when you take magnesium supplements in people who've shown to have depression, anxiety, things of that nature, sometimes those things can be properly managed by the introduction of more magnesium into the diet. So abstaining from caffeinated products and partaking of foods like potatoes that are a great source of magnesium help to mitigate that as well. So if you guys want to take a look, Bianca, you want to come show them? Right now we have the base of our soup, right? So you have your corn, you have your peppers, everything. It's nice and aromatic. You can smell the garlic, you can smell a little bit of the citrus, a nice brightness that comes from the lemon. And so right now it's kind of like a broth. Now, some people like their soup like this, and that's perfectly fine. If that's the way you like it, you can be done, right? If you want it a little thicker and a little creamier, then what you can do is actually, if you had potatoes in here, what you can do is take half of the soup and blend it in a blender, and then pour it back in and add it to the other half, and then you would end up with something a little bit creamier. You can also take a cup of cashews and 3 cups of water and blend it together so that you end up with a nice cashew cream. And then you would just pour that right into your soup, and you'll get a nice white, creamy soup. And you're adding protein, you're adding all kinds of good stuff from the cashews. It's a nice fat as well, which also contributes to brain health. And so that would give you a nice, thick, kind of creamy soup. And that's basically it. So 3 different ways you can have it depending on how you like it: nice and chunky and brothy. You can have it nice and creamy with your potato and slightly chunky, or you can have it super chunky and creamy by just adding some cashew cream or some sort of nut cream. And then you can finish it off by garnishing it with a little bit of cilantro, or you could use parsley if you'd like, a little bit of chopped green bell peppers, you know, something nice and bright and colorful, and maybe drizzle a little bit of cashew cream on top, and you're all set. You're good to go. The other chef is here. Nicole Braxton, get back in.
Nice to meet you, by the way.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Yes, I've heard all the great things you're doing. Thank you for sharing your with us.
Praise God, praise God. Well, I'm excited to see what you have to share as well. So I'll let you take it away. Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Hello, everyone. How are you? I can't see your faces, but I hope you're doing well. My name is Nicole, and I started Around the World in 7 Days, and we focus on sharing a message of holistic wellness through plant-based cuisine and wellness consulting. And so today I am joining you from my kitchen, and I'm excited to share with you just a couple quick meals that you can make while you're on the go. A lot of times when we have really busy schedules, the last thing we want to do is spend hours and hours in the kitchen. So what I'm going to make with you today is just some quick meals that get straight to the point and are also delicious. So join me as we are cooking, and feel free to turn on your cameras. I love to see your friendly faces. It really is just like a joy for me to connect with you, even through Zoom. So if you're feeling courageous or you want to join the fun, go ahead and turn your camera on. Would love to see you. And so we'll get started. And our first dish today is going to be a sweet potato coconut curry over brown rice. And so I'm just going to get this set up and we're going to get going. We are going to start with really simple things. I love adding garlic to my dishes because garlic is a great prebiotic. Prebiotics are awesome to actually prepare your system to really absorb probiotics, such as like sauerkraut, kimchi, fermented foods. So I'm excited to share with you a quick way how I make my sweet potato coconut curry. So I'll get a saucepan just like this. And I will add minced garlic. You can get it already prepared. I like to make it like this way because it's so quick and you don't have to really worry about cutting it up. So you have minced garlic. Another thing that I like to do when it comes to cooking, I like to also cook with water. So I don't know how many of you, feel free to comment in the chat, how many of you actually cook with water? Have you ever heard of that concept before? I love cooking with water because what it does is it eliminates the extra fat, and it also, so it's healthier for you. And two, it's also less expensive. So you don't have to worry about getting oils, which can be costly when you're trying to make your dish. So I am going to add I have minced garlic and I have some water that I'll add to this. All right, and I'm going to turn this over a little bit so you can see more of what I'm cooking. Okay. All right, so we have our minced garlic, we added some water, and now to make this easier and to cut down on the time, I also, at the base of my meals, I like to season it. And the reason why I do that is because you tend to maximize, do the most flavor in the beginning at the bottom of the dish, at the root, if you will. So right now we've got our garlic, and now I'm going to add about a tablespoon of curry. So I have my measurement here, about a tablespoon of curry. And the thing that's excellent about this is when you put your curry in and it's at the root, so if you can see it like this, you want to let it heat up and warm enough so that the oils are released, or the different flavors are released from the curry. And once you start to smell it, that's when you want to make sure you start adding other things so it doesn't burn. The key is to not burn your different dry rubs or seasonings on the base, so that because you don't want to taste it throughout the rest of your dish. So you're putting it at the bottom. Oh my gosh, I wish you were here with me. It smells so good. Okay, there we go. All right, so I got my curry in there, and now I'm going to add about a cup full of veggies. I'm adding actually frozen veggies to cut down on the time. So it's a vegetable medley with broccoli, carrots, corn, and also green beans. Also, I'm going to add some fresh mushrooms that I will just add to my dish like so. And to also season it, so I've got my curry powder in there right now. I'm also going to add cumin. It has a nice savory texture or nice savory taste to that. And then I'm also going to add some chicken style seasoning, which is actually made by a French chef, he is my mentor, and we both are launching this line in October. So get excited. You can follow us on Instagram to stay connected as we post this. But this chicken style seasoning is a one-stop shop. It has sea salt in it, all different herbs and spices. And so I like to add that to this dish. All right. In addition to that, I'm going to add some chili garlic, which you can get in the Asian aisle. Chili garlic right here. Adding that in there. Nice little kick. How many of you guys like spicy food? Anyone? Anyone? Actually, I don't really like spice. Oh, you do. Awesome. I like it mild, so I just put a little. But if you like a lot of spice, you can add more than that. All right, so we've got that going, which is awesome. And now this is awesome. I've got the base going. I'm going to also add some more mushrooms. I like mine to have some flavor. So you can see this is the base of it. And now I'm going to add the star right now. And that's sweet potatoes. Ooh wee. I love sweet potatoes. I am actually in the process of making a sweet potato hummus for my cookbook that's coming out, but this is an excellent way to put it in your curry. So sweet potatoes right here. We're going to put this into our dish. All right, and that's actually frozen sweet potatoes that are cubed. That cuts down on the time, but if you prefer to bake it yourself, go ahead and do that. You'll bake it at around 400, 425 degrees Fahrenheit for about an hour, and you can cut it up, or you can have it already diced and prepared, ready for you in your freezer section or also your refrigerated section, which are pre-washed vegetables. So here's the base. You can see it. Oh, let me show you some more. Okay, so we've got mushrooms, frozen veggies, sweet potatoes, and they're all, it smells so good. It's full, like this curry is just incredible right now. Now you're probably wondering, that just looks like a whole bunch of vegetables. Where's the sauce? Don't worry. Now we're going to add some coconut milk. You can buy coconut milk in your Asian section, or you can go to an actual Asian market. Now it's become more popular, so Asian markets or actually your Asian section in a Kroger, Walmart should have it. All right, so now I'm going to add the coconut milk. All right. Now, and if you like less of the liquid, you can also do like 1 cup of coconut milk as well. So now what I like to do is add lemongrass. Lemongrass is phenomenal because it has a nice lemon citrus taste to it. And once you add it to the curry, it just brings out all the different flavors. So now I'm going to add my lemongrass to this. You can see right there, the curry is right there. And now add some garlic powder. And also cumin. So now the extra seasonings that I'm adding is really to accentuate our base flavors that we already have. Believe it or not, we've made our curry. So now at this point, you can add it with rice. You could do instant rice, or you can actually make a rice that I like to make from scratch, which I'll show you right now. This is the rice that I like to bake. It's full of flavor. So this is originally brown rice, and I seasoned it, which I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. So our curry, you can let it cook so that all the flavors are brought out. I'll show you right here. So you can let it cook down and just let it simmer for about 15 minutes. So your curry is done. So you have the sweet potatoes, and as you cook it for about 15 minutes, your sweet potatoes will get a chance to soften in the liquid. And when it's finished, you'll have a product just like this, where you have your rice, basil, and then you have all the different colors. I love the coconut because it also has natural fats, which are really healthy for your body. The basil helps sweeten it. Hold on, just let me try it. One second. I got so excited. I have to try this. So just so you can see it, let me give it a taste. You can always simmer this longer, but it's really quick and easy. Oh my gosh. This is good. This is really good. The different flavors are just coming at you. You've got the lemon, the basil, the sweet potatoes in there. So it's like a savory, sweet and savory all in one bowl. So this is a sweet potato coconut curry. And I would love for you guys to get a chance to try this at home. Easy, quick. You can make this in about 15 to 20 minutes. So thank you for watching me make that. I'm going to show you how to make the rice really quick. One moment. So at the end, I just chopped up some basil like so. And when you're done, you can just put it on top of your curry. So it doesn't cook in it unless you'd like to. If you want to cook with the basil, I recommend to add it towards the end because it's a sweet herb and it can lose its flavor pretty quickly. So you can add it at the end, top it, and just allow it to simmer in your curry. Or at the end, like I did, you can just put it as a garnish and mix it inside of your curry. So you still get the aroma and the taste so that it's bold enough as you're eating it. All right, guys, we're going to get busy on this rice. And so how you make the rice is you literally put 1 to 2 cups of brown rice into a baking dish. You can add veggies, frozen veggies if you like. Also, another thing that I do is I add the chicken. You can add vegan chicken broth. Or you can add our chicken style seasoning, which is a one-stop shop, and I like to add that into the dish. The next thing I like to do is add some minced garlic into the dish as well. So you can see. Okay, so I'm going to add some minced garlic. I also will add some cumin. And I like to add turmeric. And turmeric is phenomenal because it has so many great medicinal properties, especially when it comes to healing the bones and helping with inflammation. It's great for arthritis. I mean, you name it. It has a lot of great benefits. So I'm going to add this to our brown rice. And I like using brown rice instead of white rice because brown rice breaks down slower into your body. And so like if you have diabetes, it will help you combat that. So brown rice breaks down slower. So I will add that into our dish. And the next thing is I'll add some water.
And everyone, as she's talking about the brown rice, you actually should put your brown rice in the oven before you cook it on the lowest fire that you can put it on. 170 is usually the setting. And you can cook it for 3 hours. Not cook it, but let it sit in there, you know, turn it every half an hour for 3 hours because it gets rid of the phytic acid. that destroys a lot of the enzymes in our bodies.
Thank you. That is powerful. Yes, it has a lot of great health benefits. And so with this, then you also will cover it. You can use, if you have like a baking dish that you already have a cover, then you'll just cover it and bake it at 400 degrees for about 1 hour. And then when it's done, it'll come out something similar to this. And you can garnish it with your favorite seasonings. Like I garnish this with oregano leaves, and it's just a great addition to your coconut curry. So that is how you make a sweet potato coconut curry with brown rice. And the other dish that I will show you is a quick salad. When it comes to salads, you know, traditionally it's usually you pick your favorite lettuce, or whether it's spinach, romaine, you know, and you put your toppings. But this is a unique way of making a salad by using cauliflower and broccoli. You're able to actually just make a quick dressing and just drizzle it on and top it with different toppings. So I'm going to show you how to make an avocado dressing. And so how I like to do it, you can definitely go ahead and get an avocado directly from your store and in its normal state. Another way that I like to get it is frozen, diced. So it's already ready to go, and that helps me to make a delicious meal quickly. So I have my avocado right here. And to make this a sauce, I'm adding silken tofu, which means it's a tofu that is that has not been pressed, and it's really smooth. It's just like quote unquote silk. It's really smooth. It does have a lot of water in it, which really makes it excellent for making a sauce. And I also have minced garlic in there as well. And so I have my silken tofu, I have minced garlic, and now I'm going to add basil. This is where predominantly most of the flavor is going to come. And then I'm also going to add lemon. That'll give it a nice kick. So I'm going to add some lemon in there as well. To accentuate the flavors, I'm going to add some Himalayan salt. And I like Himalayan salt because it's less processed, and it accentuates the flavors really well. All right, so we've got avocado, minced garlic, water, silken tofu, basil, Himalayan salt, and lemon. All right, so I put it in my NutriBullet, and just like that, our sauce is done. So here are the broccoli florets and cauliflower, which is already, I bought it pre-washed, pre-cut. And so what I'm gonna do now is just add the dressing that we just made on top. I'll give it a toss. Add a little bit more.
Nicole, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Sure. If I have a soy sensitivity, what can I use in place of the tofu in the dressing?
That's a great question. You know, and silken, I have to, you know, I need to think about that. Like I'm thinking of coconut milk could be a replacement. Because it'll be creamy, and it's creamy and thick if you buy it the one that has the less water. So for example, one that's like coconut extract.
Yes.
And because some of them are watered down, but like for example, the one from Kroger has coconut extract and its water content is less than other coconut milks. I think you could use that. It will have a coconut taste to it, but in terms of like bland to replace the silken, I'll need to think about that. If you can actually send me a message on our at AW7days is my Instagram. You can message me there, or you can go to my website at aroundtheworldin7days.com. Send me a message and I'll get back. That's a
Okay,
great question.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sunflower seeds.
What'd you say?
Sunflower seeds.
Sunflower seeds. Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. All right. So here's
Awesome.
our tossed salad. I love this dressing. I gave it to one of my clients when I was making his dishes, and he was like, oh my gosh, I just drizzled it on bread. He just ate it on bread. And I was like, hey, whatever works. But I really like this sauce. It's quick, it's easy, and it's delicious. Shredded carrots. You want some color in there. I also will add some salad tomatoes. Chopped up a few tomatoes in here. Give that a toss. It's very, very simple, but also very delicious. I'm gonna add a little bit of lemon, extra lemon in there. A little more Himalayan salt to accent all the flavors. There we go. Toss it, and it's done. It's done, just like that. It's done and ready to eat. So that is our quick salad. We've got our sweet potato coconut curry. Let me get that for you one more second. You got your sweet potato coconut curry, which is my favorite. It's just like the best comfort food. That's actually good for you, and you don't feel terrible after eating it. So I highly recommend this dish. If you want to start off your meal with a nice salad, you can do that quick salad that I showed you. But ultimately, my goal is really to share a message of health and wellness, and I love food. I'm a legitimate foodie, so I'm so excited to be able to cook with you guys. Thank you for joining us. And basically, with our recipes, I have a cookbook coming out this fall, and so I hope to see you get a chance to experience the different meals and travel the world one bite at a time. So thank you so much for watching and cooking with me for that short period of time. Yes, it's under my name there, and it's at AW7days.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Alrighty. And I know someone asked me, what did I put in the rice?
Yeah.
What I put in the rice, I had turmeric, so about half a tablespoon of turmeric. I also put cumin in there, so I would put a tablespoon of cumin, 2 cups of brown rice, 5 cups of water. I also added garlic powder, and I added a veggie. So instead of, if you would like to add a veggie broth, what I do is I add our chicken style seasoning in there. So that's fine. But if you prefer to add like a pre-made veggie broth, you can replace that with the water, and that's very flavorful. Another thing to add if you want to accentuate the flavors is to put liquid aminos and or Himalayan salt to make sure it has that flavor going throughout it. So that is how you make it. You just cover it up, cook it in there in the oven for about an hour at 400, 425, depending on your oven, and that's it. So, so my ministry is called Around the World in 7 Days, and we specialize in sharing holistic wellness through plant-based cuisine and wellness consulting. I'm based out of the Detroit area, Metro Detroit area, and essentially we're in the process of pre-COVID, we were actually going to launch prepared meals to Metro Detroit, but our commercial kitchen and a lot of things changed. So actually we're in the process of launching, I'm in the process of launching a cookbook that'll be out this fall. And prior to COVID, we were predominantly events-based. So we've cooked for hundreds of people all throughout Metro Detroit and also across the nation when it comes to catering, pop-up restaurants, and also wellness classes. We have done a big push in the Detroit in terms of the youth and giving them different ways to learn about culinary arts and different avenues, how to eat healthy, and just to know a different option when it comes to speaking of a career. So we're really big on community outreach. That's like the base of it. It's really sharing God's love by caring for our brothers and sisters, mind, body, and spirit. So this year we've pivoted our operations, and so more focused on products. So the cookbook is launching this fall, and we actually are starting a wellness challenge that you'll be able to tune in to. And we're also working with a center of influence that is launching, Lord willing, in Detroit this fall. So that's a little bit about our ministry. You can find more about what we're up to at aroundtheworldin7days.com. That's the website, aroundtheworld, the number 7days.com. We're in the process of actually rebranding, which is really, really exciting. So don't be surprised. But yeah, that's our main thing, is sharing a message of hope and health. And we love to do it through plant-based cuisine and wellness consulting.
And thank you so much for sharing that. And when you say we, you mean that, are you self-supporting, or you're with a church, or?
This is a self-supporting ministry. Also, I do collaborate with churches when it comes to outreach, event-based, and this, like, for example, there's a center that's in the process. I can't really like say too much because it's not finalized yet, but that is another avenue. But so basically, I collaborate with other churches locally, but it's self-supporting. With you, you know, for me, one of the inspirations when I learned about the power of a day of rest and restoration, I really asked God, I said, you know, what can I do? How can I share this message with your people? And he gave me a vision. And that really propelled me to change my whole life. I left corporate America and I just went out and took a leap of faith. And it's been a journey and a blessing. And so I'm really honored for opportunities like this to connect with you guys and just to share what God has put on my heart and just to share delicious food. So thank you so much for cooking with me and supporting this ministry.
Yes, and I'd love to close you in prayer. And thank you for sending the invite and including me. I'm sorry I was only able to catch the end, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. And my husband and I would love to cook, so we're going to be implementing some of these recipes that you have presented.
Awesome. Praise God.
Yes, so I'll say prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for inspiring us through this cooking presentation by Sister Nicole. I pray that you'll continue to bless her ministry. I thank you for her testimony of stepping out in faith. And I pray that each of us will be inspired in our walk with the Lord to walk according to his guidance. Help us to make changes in our lifestyle so that we can have a better clarity and hearing of God's voice, so that we also can be used. As we have now entered into this new week, I pray that you'll bless us and bless people that we come in contact with and sustain us, I pray. Amen.
Amen.